You were not born behind. You were born carrying weight other students never had to see. Because when you are a poor student, school is not just school, it is a battlefield. You are not only studying for grades, you are studying against exhaustion, against shame, against lack of money, against problems at home, against the quiet fear that your future might look exactly like your past. And the hardest part? Most people only see the student. They do not see the weight behind the student. They see the uniform. They see the notebook. They see the test score. But they do not see the bus rides, the empty pockets, the old backpack, the nights without proper sleep, the pressure of knowing that education might be your only way out. So this is your life at every level as a poor student.
Level 1. The child who does not understand the difference yet. At first, you do not know you are poor. You are just a child. You go to school with what you have. Sometimes your clothes are simple. Sometimes your shoes are old. Sometimes your materials are not new like everyone else's. But you do not fully understand it yet. You just notice small things. Other kids have better backpacks, better lunch, better phones, better birthdays, better stories from the weekend. And slowly, you start asking yourself a question no child should have to ask. Why is my life different? This is the first level. The level where poverty does not hurt because of money. It hurts because comparison begins. You start feeling something before you even know how to explain it. And that feeling follows you.
Level 2. The student who starts feeling embarrassed. Then you grow a little older. And now you understand more. You understand when you cannot buy the book. You understand when you cannot join the school trip. You understand when your family says, "Not this month." You start hiding things. You hide that you do not have money for lunch. You hide that your internet is bad. You hide that you do homework late because you had responsibilities at home. And sometimes you laugh with others just to pretend everything is fine. But inside, you know. You know your life is not the same. While some students worry only about grades, you worry about things they never think about. Transportation, food, bills, family problems, noise at home, a place to study, a quiet mind. And that is when school becomes heavier. Because you are not just trying to learn. You are trying to learn while surviving.
Level 3. The student who studies with no structure. At this level, you begin to realize something painful. Talent is not enough. Because some students have private lessons, better computers, a quiet room, parents who can help, time to focus, money for courses, money for books, money for mistakes. But you try to do everything with almost nothing. You study with your phone, you watch free videos, you borrow materials, you write in old notebooks, you search for answers alone. And people still expect you to perform like everyone else. That is the unfair part. They compare results, but they do not compare conditions. They compare grades, but they do not compare starting points. And if you fail, they say you did not try hard enough. But the truth is, you were trying harder than most people ever noticed. You were just fighting a harder fight.
Level 4. The student who almost gives up. This is the dangerous level, because poverty does not always make you quit suddenly. Sometimes it makes you quit slowly. First, you lose motivation. Then you lose confidence. Then you start believing that maybe education is not for people like you. You see people around you giving up. Some start working early, some stop studying. Some accept any life because dreaming feels expensive. And you start wondering, am I being stupid for trying? This is where many poor students break, not because they are weak,
but because they are tired. Tired of trying with no support. Tired of studying with pressure. Tired of seeing other people move faster. Tired of feeling late. Tired of carrying family expectations and personal fear at the same time. And the worst feeling is this. You know education can change your life, but life keeps making education harder. Level 5. The student who learns discipline before comfort. But then something changes. Not outside. Inside. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You realize that nobody is coming to save you. No perfect moment, no perfect routine, no perfect opportunity. So you begin anyway. You study tired. You study with noise. You study with fear. You study after work. You study before the day begins. You study when nobody believes it will matter. And this is where your mind starts changing. You stop seeing study as schoolwork. You start seeing study as escape. Not escape from responsibility, escape from limitation. Every page becomes a step. Every class becomes a weapon. Every mistake becomes training. Every small improvement becomes proof. Proof that poverty may affect your beginning, but it does not have to control your ending.
Level 6. The student who becomes dangerous. Now, you are not the same student anymore. You are still poor, maybe, but your mindset has changed. You no longer study only to pass a test. You study to change your bloodline. You study because you know what it feels like to have no options, and that makes you different. A student with comfort can be motivated, but a poor student with purpose becomes dangerous. Because you are not chasing status, you are chasing freedom. You are chasing the day your family stops worrying about basic things, the day your name opens doors, the day your knowledge pays back every silent sacrifice. People may still underestimate you, but now their doubt does not destroy you. It fuels you. Because you know something they do not know. You have already survived pressure they never had to face.
Level 7. The student who starts winning quietly. Then the results begin. Not all at once, slowly. You understand things faster. You become more disciplined. You make better decisions. You stop wasting time trying to impress people. You start protecting your future. While others depend on motivation, you depend on purpose. While others study when they feel like it, you study because you remember where you came from. And little by little, your life begins to move. Maybe you pass an exam. Maybe you enter college. Maybe you get a scholarship. Maybe you get your first real opportunity. Maybe someone finally says, "You made it." But they do not know what that sentence cost you. They do not know how many nights you wanted to quit, how many times you felt behind, how many times you studied with a heavy heart. They only see the result. They do not see the war. Level 8. The student who breaks the cycle. This is the final level. The level where education becomes more than a diploma. It becomes a weapon against everything that tried to keep you small. You realize you were not just studying subjects. You were studying patience. You were studying discipline. You were studying pain. You were studying survival. You were studying how to become someone your younger self needed. And one day, you look back at the old backpack, the difficult home, the money problems, the shame, the fear, the nights of doubt, and you finally understand. You were not weak. You were being built. Because the poor student does not just learn from books. The poor student learns from life. And when that student refuses to quit, they do not just change their own future. They change the story of everyone who comes after them. So if you are a poor student right now, remember this.
Your conditions may be harder. Your path may be longer. Your mind may feel tired. But your beginning is not your sentence. You are not studying just for grades. You are studying for a life where money no longer decides how far you can go. And maybe nobody sees your effort today, but one day they will see the result. And when they ask how you changed your life, you will know the truth. You did not change it in one moment. You changed it every time you kept studying when quitting would have been easier.